You were talking about the party platform of the Democratic Socialists of America, which, by the way, that's the same group that de Blasio comes from. And it's weird because this group is actually infiltrating the Democratic Party. So the Democrats have used these guys for their get out the vote, for the protests, for the grassroots activity, and very successfully. But as a friend of mine likes to say, if you make a deal, if you partner with the devil, you're going to find out pretty soon you're the junior partner. And the Democrats are being taken over by this party.
This isn't good.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go, please.
Anyway, so if I'm Adams, here's what I'm doing. I'm running an ad, okay? And the ad has footage of Londonistan, formerly London. And I'm showing the rape gangs, and I'm showing the Sharia law in neighborhoods, and I'm showing all that stuff. And I'm saying, New York, keep going in this direction. This is your future.
Well,
this is where you're going.
One of the things that Bernie was talking about when they interviewed him about this guy was that he ran a grassroots campaign without ads, and that what Cuomo was doing wasn't working because he was speaking to a voting demographic that just wasn't there, right? Yep. So I don't even know if running ads is really going to work because the people who have made up their mind, they've already done it, and you're not going to reach them with that type of marketing campaign.
Well, what seems to be the most effective is going to a courthouse and fighting cops and then going on TV and then getting invited to a bunch of talk shows by having done it. And I strongly recommend no one do that. However, it appears if you are a Democrat, Trump's DOJ will not criminally charge you if you do. So bravo to the Trump administration for letting Brad Lander off with no charges, even though he fought federal agents and should go to jail for that.
I would like you to have him on so you can ask him what defunding the police has to do with queer liberation.
He wants to create an LGBTQ council. Like what? Who gets to be on that? Someone
Is it a Sharia council?
I mean, I don't know. No, but like, here's the thing. If you literally say we're going to create this is communism. This is how they do it.
Islamunism.
It's communism. What he's saying is we are going to have a governmental body with power so long as you publicly declare you are part of that ideology. So you can call it the Communist Party boardroom in the mayor's office, and then people have to go in, raise the red fist, and then say, I hereby swear allegiance to communism or whatever. Or you can do what they do and say, prove that you're a part of the movement and publicly declare you're LGBTQ, and we will give you political power. There's very little difference other than the words being used.
Well, someone posted a picture of Boris Yeltsin visiting the grocery store in America, and he's surprised they're like New Yorkers visiting Hoboken 2 years into Mamdani.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Russians used to say it was capitalist propaganda to be able to just go to a grocery store and get whatever you want.
It's about to be New Jersey propaganda.
Hoboken, here we come. Look, this is something that, well, first of all, actually, there is a serious chance that Mamdani can actually win. Like, a lot of people are kind of poo-pooing on the idea, like, oh, you know, the cooler heads will prevail, blah, blah, blah. They're going to go with Adams, or they're going to go with, what's the other guy's name that's running?
Eric Adams?
Eric Adams,
Yep.
and there was someone
Cuomo?
else. Yeah, Eric Adams and Cuomo.
Wait, he reportedly is out. Like,
Well,
You conceded, right?
Well,
But
no,
that's the
but
primary.
I mean,
hold on,
but I mean,
hold on,
he was
hold on.
going to run in the general, and
yeah,
apparently he's
but hold
not
on. The
gonna-
point that I'm trying to make is there is a real chance that those two guys split the normal person vote or the regular liberal vote, and Mamdani gets the left lane right in. You know, he's far to the left, and he actually gets to be the mayor in there. And obviously, the entire, the whole internet and all of Twitter is talking about how terrible that would be for New York. So we'll see if New York actually, tries to prevent that. But I mean, personally, look, they've done these experiments in San Francisco. They've done these experiments in Chicago, and there's the entire 20th century that we can go and look at and see what happens when you have this type of administration. Mm-hmm. He's just a Fabian socialist. He's not a revolutionary, apparently, because he's not looking to kick indoors or get out in the streets the way that tankies are. But he's looking to implement a socialist government beyond New York. And the means that they're going to do it is they're going to vote it in.
And being revolutionary or not doesn't really matter because it's just pushing the Overton window farther down the line for New York as to what's acceptable even for left-wing politics.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I also think people are underrating Mamdani's ground game. Because, I went to college in New York. All of my friends who I thought were apolitical were in love with this guy. Probably couldn't name one policy of his, but his ground game, his TikTok game, That's going to be the ticket because the DSA is totally capitalized on the vacuum.
What are his pronouns, though? I mean, this is the biggest thing we.
This is interesting. He doesn't even have pronouns in his Twitter.
What?
Yeah.
He doesn't have any pronouns?
No. So
Look,
Well, it worked out for him.
he likely will get the same type of treatment that Barack Obama got. And I'm talking about Mamdani here. He's very charismatic. He's a good-looking young guy. People are going to look at him and be like, look, he represents something different, and this is going to change the circumstances of my life. And whereas that will definitely change the circumstances of their lives.
Donald Trump has the opportunity to do the funniest thing in American history.
You know, I would love it. Obviously.
Someone want to read it? Because the silence.
It says the Communist Control Act of 1954 is an American law signed by President Dwight Eisenhower on August 24th, 1954, that outlawed the Communist Party USA and criminalized membership in or support for the party or communist action organizations. It also defines evidence to be considered by a jury in determining participation in the activities, planning, actions, objectives, or purposes of such organizations. Since being signed into law, it has scarcely been invoked and was effectively ruled unconstitutional in 1973.
That last
we
sentence,
need to revisit that.
Hold on. That last sentence was added without citation, likely by an activist, because that is factually false. A lower court at a state level said, you can't actually do this, and it was never challenged. So it is still on the books. And also, you guys, I hope you're aware, the Civil Rights Act actually has an exemption for communists. Mm-hmm. They are not considered humans.
Correctly has an exception for communists. Look,
if you believe communism, you can be discriminated against. That's actually, and that is law. That is codified law. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.